Hello and good morning. I'm awake now. Welcome to the virtual Sunday service for the Journey Within Spiritualist Church. I am Reverend Dennis Battersby from the Journey Within, and I'll be hosting today's service. I'm pleased to welcome our guest today, Simone Key. Simone is appointed teacher of the Spiritualist National Union, a diploma holder in public speaking and spiritualist education, as well as a certified holder in speaking, demonstration, and teaching. She is also an appointed assessor. For the past 7 years, Simone has held the position of senior tutor at the Arthur Findlay College. Her aim is to ensure our college retains its reputation as the finest spiritualist teaching facility worldwide and believes its teachers are some of the very best. Simone regularly teaches many aspects of mediumship and healing, providing lectures, seminars, and workshops nationally and internationally, as well as teaching teachers. The subject of trance is very close to her heart, and the trance healing, trance speaking, and trance communication are intrinsic to her. It's my pleasure to welcome her to our service today. We begin our service with spiritual healing, conducted virtually as our healers are with us today. If you would like to request healing for someone, please type their name and first initial of their last name into the chat box. Please do not include the person's full last name. If you wish, you may also add the names of your pets, the planet, or global circumstances. We will open with a prayer followed by a period of quiet meditation. If you would like to participate in the healing, please quiet yourself, focus on your breathing, and as you inhale, feel yourself boosting your own immune system and ignite with the inner healer within. Please join me in prayer. Dear God, we join together in prayer, asking for healing for all our brothers and sisters who are suffering and in need of healing. We ask that their suffering be eased in some way. We also pray for healing of the minds and hearts of all people. May we learn to be kinder, gentler, and more compassionate. May we learn to see your beauty within ourselves, within all living things, and within all your creation. May we learn to honor you through our thoughts and actions, and may we learn to be ambassadors for healing while we walk this earth. Amen. As we come to the end of our healing, we will continue to remember and pray for those who are suffering and who are in need of healing. Amen. If you would like to request the healing for anybody during the course of this week, please email or call the church with their names, and we will forward this on to our healers, who will pray for the healing for the days, weeks, and months to come. Thank you to all of our healers. Welcome again. I am Reverend Dennis Battersby from the Journey Within Church, hosting today's service. We are here today with Simone Key. We open the services with song and prayer, and I would like to invite Simone to lead us in the opening prayer. Simone.
Okay. Welcome to everybody, no matter where you are and what time of day it is. I hope your life is being kind to you. So please join with me in prayer. Divine and loving Spirit, our God, we thank you for this time together in peace and in friendship. And as we cast away the trials of the day, we unite in love to you, our God. As we bask in your light and in your glory, we know that each person here is looking for that truth, that joy, upliftment, and understanding, as we know within our hearts and our minds that we do not die and that life goes on for eternity. We know too that that truth helps us to live life every day. And together we know we can find unity and balance within life, within the spiritual and the material. As we look to you, our God, today, we invite all our loved ones from that world we call the spirit world to come close to every one of us so that we can feel, sense, and know their presence. We know they're well looked after. We know too that your love surrounds us all, and it's up to us to reach out with our minds to find it. And as we do so, we know that those that are in the spirit world already have found that peace, have found that joy, and that together our thoughts can help and support so many in their time of need. We know too, our God, that today is a day of celebration where we can unite the worlds of spirit and matter, where there is no veil or separateness, but just joining together of minds. And we do so in your name. Amen.
Now I invite Simone to provide today's address. Simone.
Thank you. I was thinking earlier about, what matters to me that I can talk about here this morning. And I know that personal responsibility matters to me. The fact that we are responsible for what we do, what we say, what we think, and how we react as well. And thinking about personal responsibility is, this is a principle, one of 7, it's the 5th principle of 7 of the Spiritualist National Union, of which I am a minister. And this principle to me is very, very important, because we can go through life believing in life after death. We can go through life knowing that our loved ones are going to be with us, whatever time we make it. But we still have to be responsible and aware of life itself. Sometimes I wonder why we use the word spiritual. And that word often has a little bit of an effect on me, because being so-called spiritual, it seems to imply in my mind, and maybe because I've got a difficult mind, but it can imply that we can go through life on a cloud of talcum powder, just wandering along with this benign smile on our face and not actually doing anything or being effective in any way. And I believe that being spiritual means that you stand up for people, you stand up for yourself, that you honor your own spirituality. And very often, I know it certainly would have happened to me in my very early days, that the spirit knocks on the door of your own mind. Your spirit knocks on the door of your mind and says, listen to me, talk to me, use me, fulfill me. Because there comes a point in our lives where we are not fulfilled. And that can be in every way and any way. But most importantly, if we're not fulfilled spiritually, then life doesn't seem to have a purpose for me, and I'm sure most, if not all of you. Being spiritual doesn't necessarily mean being mediumistic. It doesn't necessarily mean being a healer, but it means that we care, that we use our compassion and our empathy with people every day of our life. And that is our responsibility. We know that in our world, it's not going through a particularly good stage at the moment. That's the understatement of the year, by the way. But I certainly know that we can use our minds in such a specific way where we can incur change. Transformation is everything to me and more, because nothing stays still. Society doesn't stay still. Everything moves on. Everything should progress. But when the mind doesn't progress, because an individual believes that the spirit world is going to tell them everything they need to know, or it's going to help them find their job, or the spirit world is going to determine who they meet and who they marry, that kind of upsets me, because that means that we are getting a shortcut to life. in view of the fact that we're asking someone else to help us do what we should be doing, is incurring us or causing us to be aware that life is for living and not just getting answers from everybody. We do not get a shortcut. We have to go through life. I don't know of anyone who's had a perfect, so-called, whatever that is, perfect life. Because if we didn't know sadness, how could we help the sad? If we didn't know what it was like to be in pain, how could we help those that are suffering? If we didn't know what it was like to be anxious and scared, fearful, how would we know that we could help someone else? Being of service to the spirit is being of service to humankind. It helps us understand that we are not alone. Each one of us has a world of knowledge that we can reach out to and touch, but only to help us to become better people, only to help us share that knowledge of support and encouragement that we can help others. If we understand that on a daily basis, then we must know the responsibility we have for the way we think. We know that our thoughts are living things. We know too that we can use our thoughts in a very, very great way, which is to uplift, enlighten, and hopefully inspire others to help themselves, to help them be the person they want to be, to help them to empower themselves. We all know, I do think that we all know, and maybe I'm being presumptuous, but I certainly know most of the people I know have felt alone and isolated, almost cut off from the world in times when they've not known what to do with themselves, where to go, who to approach, what to approach. But every one of us has got the power to reach out to that world. No, not for the answers. Of course, there are answers, but most likely we'll live your life to the best of your ability as a response, not telling us how, but why. Why should we live in a better world? Because then in a better world, we would be more able to help others. We would be more enlightened and uplifted and transformed to be able to stimulate others into thinking more about their place in the scheme of things, that they too have an immortal soul. They're not worthless. They're not valueless. They are as important as everyone else on this planet. We know that every single individual, everything that's living, is connected by the power of the spirit. And that I have got an amount of spirit and you have got an amount of spirit within you, but none of us has more than the other. We are all equal in terms of spirituality. I hope we're all equal anyway, but some may disagree. But I feel that understanding the spirit is not to lean on it as a tool, a useful tool to give us all the answers. It's help us to find the answers. It's help us to pursue what we need to fulfill our minds on a daily basis. We are much more than the material, we know that. But we are also more than the spiritual because we are both combined. And we have a duty of care to each other. And we have a duty of care to our world that we try in our own small way, using those thoughts that we have of positivity and upliftment and security to help this world become a better place. I come across quite a few people who I would actually consider are so spiritual, they're of absolutely no use to the earth because they live in their own world, in their own home. They don't venture out. They feel locked in their sensitivity and they feel unable to reach out because they keep looking for protection. That concerns me, that we are making people, through our understanding and our philosophy, become more in tune with the spirit than we are with each other. I have a fear that when I get to the spirit world is going to say to me, do you know what? You spent so much time talking to us, you didn't talk to the people around you. And it does concern me that a lot of people who consider themselves spiritual also believe they belong to an elite club, which is not true. We all belong to that club of the spirit, and we are all equal in terms of the spirit. None of us need worry about the afterlife. None of us need to concern ourselves, maybe how we get there, that's a different story. But once we're there, we know that we're in a state of bliss and that we're well looked after. I know in all my years as a working medium, I have never, ever heard one individual, and I suppose in my X number of years I've been involved in spiritualism, well over probably 35 years, I know I've never heard one individual say they regret where they are. Yes, of course, they can regret what they've done. They can regret how they've treated people. They can regret their personality and so on, but they don't regret where they are. And that's something to hold on to, something to focus on, that we know that when we're there, we're in a different world without the limitations and restrictions of the physical body. And we have a new mind, a new mindset. But it's how we live life that matters, how we are to each other that matters, that each one has a responsibility of being as kind as we can be, as good as we can be, whatever that word means, as tolerant as we can be. And I believe that the spirit world teaches us more about tolerance than anything else. Once we open our mind to the spirit, once we allow that power to blend with us and ours, we know that there will be change, a change in us. Not that we can go out and believe that we are the next Messiah that changes everybody and waves a magic wand to say, you're all right now. Of course not. But we can believe in people. We can believe in each other. And we can bring about the best for each other, because that's what we're worth. We're worth the best. Each one of us has a responsibility to be the best we can be. And even throughout our lives of the good days and the not such good days, we can know that whatever happens to us, we will be the best we can be. And that means being kind to ourselves, opening the mind to the spirit, allowing them share that journey of life with us, opening our minds to so much more that's out there in terms of healing, mediumship, and so on. All that creativity that we can provide our world with means such a lot, because somewhere, sometime, somehow, an individual is going to need us, and we need to be there for them. We need not to give them the answers to life, but to show them they can find them for themselves. I believe that's what we're about, and I hope you do too. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Simone, for that inspirational address.
Thank you.
Now we come time for our collection and announcements. You will see on the screen, there is a box with a QR code in it, and that's to donate whatever you can. We appreciate all donations at this time. If you would like to donate, you can click the box or donate through our website or send a check. We are grateful for all donations, great and small. Now it's time for the announcements. Okay. We will have fellowship after the service on the first Sunday of each month. This is for the service that's at the Journey Within. They're going to be serving coffee, tea, small desserts, bagels, donuts, all sorts of tasty treats, I believe. And online, upcoming events and classes, August 14th, tomorrow, is a demonstration of mediumship. August 18th, The Psychic Dreamer with Christine Morgan. August 19th and 26th, The Voice of Your Soul with Sandra Atheris. Beginning September 9th, Life Experiences and Losses Within Mediumship with Catherine and Mitch Shirley. September 10th, Animal Communication in a Nutshell with Lillian Steiner. September 16th, Edgar Casey on the Book of Revelation with Kevin Tadashi. All those events could be found on the website, and you have to pre-register for them. In person at the Journey Within, on August 20th, we have a demonstration of mediumship with Pastor Joe, Ellen Chandler, and Elizabeth Fracolosi. Some of our evening ongoing classes are on hiatus for the summer. Please watch for the return in September. We are constantly updating our website with new classes and events. Please look there for the most up-to-date information. Now it's time for our demonstration of mediumship. As a spiritualist church, we do believe in the continuity of life. As the medium brings forth the body of evidence of a deceased loved one, and you can take 90% of what has been said in the exact way the medium has said it, rather than in a way that you can make it fit, please raise your digital hand, and you'll find that under the reactions, if somebody could just do that. Okay, thank you, thank you. Got a lot of hands. All right.
Okay.
All right. All righty. Thanks. All right. If you can take the first few pieces of the evidence, but cannot continue to take the next piece of evidence, please lower your hand so that we may find our recipient as quickly as possible. If several people can take the information, it is up to the medium to discern the right recipient. If you are invited to speak but cannot unmute or are having difficulty, please type to me in the chat box. We will now listen to a song in preparation for the demonstration. And now I invite Simone to offer demonstration of mediumship.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We've been joined by a lady here, and I know she's a mum and she would like to speak to her daughter. She tells me that her daughter wears her wedding ring on the daughter's right hand sometimes, and that this lady, she tells me that she feels that the last few months of her life, she just wanted to give up. She didn't want to fight anymore. She lost her fight. I know that she shows herself to me as having a really dry mouth, a dry throat, but she had a lot of stomach issues over the last 18 months of her life. Okay, I see a lady there.
We got two hands.
Yeah, okay, let me see if I can.
Three.
All right, okay. Let me just see if I can get somebody get to give me something a little bit more specific. So I wanted to ask all you three that you wear your mum's wedding ring on your right hand sometimes. Please put your hand down if you don't. So we just got one now, is that right?
Yep. Oh, two, somebody.
Two. Okay. All right. Can I look at the person who's got the name Care? Is that possible? Do they have a camera?
I don't think that's.
No, it's not possible. Okay, just
But
bear
you
with me.
can speak to them.
Oh, there, I'll speak to them. That's what I wanted to do. Sorry. Okay.
Claire, can you unmute yourself?
Could you just talk to me, please? Did you understand that information? Could the person called Care with a hand up, could you just talk to me, please? Nobody's talking to me. Okay. Okay.
If you can't speak, please type in into the chat box.
All right, let me just see if I can get some more information and see, because this is not working. I'm sorry. Let's see what else she can say, the mum can say. I know that her daughter did everything for her for the last few months of her life. I'm looking at the last 6 months of her life. And her daughter was always there. Right, you've got that. So, okay, so you understand that from the lady, from the lady called Care. It's got to be a lady, because that's a daughter I'm talking, a granddaughter I'm talking to. Sorry, a daughter I'm talking to, not granddaughter.
3 other hands as well.
Right, okay, let me see. Right, okay. But it's really important that, and one of you, I know, I don't believe this would be for all 3 of you, but she had an issue with her right arm. So who can understand that? There'd been an old injury there, or an issue of pain. So we're still talking to Care. Okay.
Care says yes.
Okay. So I'm going to stay with Care if that's all right. Okay. But anybody else, please listen in. I know that your mum talks about the fact that she gave up towards the end of her life, the last 6 months or so. She really had an awful time. That's what she tells me. She was incredibly sad. And I feel that with your mum, that, you know, she just wanted to go. She just couldn't cope with the way she was. And I know she wants to say to you how she wants to show you how different she is now. She's not that person who is in pain. She's not that weak person who wanted to just relinquish life. She talks about being incredibly strong personality, wanting to know everything about her family, being involved in everything as she used to be in her past. Can you accept all of that, please? Just a yes or a no, I'm all right with that. No, not hearing. Okay, great. And I know that your mum wants to show you that not only has she survived physical death, but she's involved in your lives, and she's talking about you're going through a change at the moment. Things are changing for you, but in a good way, where you don't have so much responsibility, where you don't have to look after so many, that you're looking to fulfill your own time now. Would you agree with that, please? Okay. I'm not getting anything on that. Well, this is what she's saying to me. And she's just saying, she wants to say to you that, you know, okay, okay, Elizabeth, I'll work with you then, because obviously you can take everything. Thank you. And on Eugenia as well.
You still have, yeah, and Stacy.
Right, okay. But you can all understand a mum who has got stomach issues. She had a real problem with her throat, really dry. You wear your mum's ring on your right hand sometimes. And that your mum had a problem with her right arm at one point as well. I can't not, okay. I'm going to be honest and say I feel I'm with Elizabeth. Not just because she's sorry. Okay, it's got to be right. I'm really sorry. Okay, I thought she'd had a stroke, but I wasn't saying that. But anyway, I'm going to talk to Elizabeth, okay, because that's where I feel drawn. And I feel with you, Elizabeth, you must be going through a really, really changing time now, a transformational time where you've got less responsibilities. You're thinking more of your own personal journey. You're thinking more of your own work with spirit as well. And your mum says that she's so pleased that you've got the freedom now You've got nobody else who is hanging on to your every word. You've got to be there for them every minute of every day. Of course, you've got lots of loved ones. That's not what I'm saying, but they're not so needy now as they were. And your mum is saying to you, please, please enjoy this time. Make the most of it. Use your time in a way that lifts you up like you used to be, and not to just give everybody, your time, but use your time for yourself as well, so that traveling is important to you, and looking into things as well, where you've put ideas to one side of research, because you're very good, she's telling me, with research as well. You like to go into something, you can't do it lightly. Okay, so please, please take your mum's love. She's a smashing lady. I know that as I talk to her, she's much livelier, she's saying, than she was when she was here. I really feel that when she was here, she had everything was too much trouble. She was too weak, basically, but she's certainly not that now. She's enjoying her life more than ever before. And she says, to let you know, I've got the best of both worlds. I can see you, and I can be with the people in your world as I can be with the people in mine. And that's what she wanted to tell you. Okay, so I do hope that's helped. And thank you for working with me. Okay, let's see who else we've got. Okay. I'm aware of a gentleman who's joined me now, and I know that this man, he's a husband to somebody, and I know with him that he's got a very high color. So I don't feel it's a tan. I feel he had blood pressure problems. I feel also with this husband that he was a man who liked to take things in his stride. He's got the patience of a saint, I will tell you that. Certainly not like me, I'm afraid. And he also makes me feel that he passed in his he gives me the feeling of his late 60s, early 70s. And I feel that it was through overexertion. He was doing too much, thinking too much, doing too much, too busy. And he liked to do things at his own pace, but he was trying to rush. Does anybody understand this, please? A husband? Nobody. Okay. He's talking about having a wife and 2 children. And he also talks to me about having some breathing issues. I don't mean at the end, of course he would have done. I'm talking about throughout his life. Oh, that's great. Okay, so Daryl. Okay. All right.
There, can you raise your hand, Daryl?
Got to find it.
I'm trying to. Usually they come up to the top.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Okay.
There we go.
So
Daryl,
great.
can you talk?
Oh, thank you. Oh, can I see you? Is that possible, or is that not?
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's great. As long as I can hear your voice, that's amazing. Thank you.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay.
Okay,
fine.
lovely. Thank you. Yeah. So you would understand your husband was normally a man you couldn't hurry, but at the time of his passing, it seemed to be a lot going on in his life.
Yes. Yes. I
I'm
mean,
talking about pressure. I'm talking about pressure. I'm not talking about maybe he wasn't that busy, but that's how he felt. There was a lot to do.
yes. Well, he passed very suddenly.
Yes. Okay. All right. But you would understand that leading up to that, he'd been very busy. That's the point.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's
yes.
what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. And he talks about being a man who liked to study everything. So if he was doing a job, he'd have to think about it and plan it for a while before he did it.
Well, he was an engineer, so that's.
Oh, that would make sense. Okay. So I just know that he's not someone that would just jump in with both feet. You know, I get this feeling from him that he talks to me about you, and obviously he's very, very close to you. And he wasn't a man that would over demonstrate affection, but he would just touch your hand or touch your shoulder, or, you know, do you understand what I mean by that?
Yes, yes, or he, or a big hug.
Yeah, okay. But it was like when he was in public, it would be a gesture more than
Yeah.
anything. You know,
Yeah.
that's what he's talking about, public displays of affection. And
That's right.
he's talking about how he saw you and he as a team. He always talked about you being a good team and how you. Okay.
I believe you're right.
Well, he says he is.
No.
Yes, he would.
Simone, he is always here. I know I'm not as sensitive as you, but I know he is always here.
Yeah, well, you don't have to be, I don't think, I mean, he's any more sensitive than anyone else, to be honest, but there you go.
Well,
but he is with you, and he wanted to show you because he seems to feel that one of the reasons why he's here today is to help you to say to yourself, now, come on, I'm going to do the things that I want to do now and not try and please everybody.
okay,
I understand that.
I hear that from someone that I know he brought into my life. Right, absolutely.
Okay, because I know that he talks about the fact that he just loves to be with you, and whether you're on your own, whether you're with your family and your friends, he's still going to be there with you. His life, he says, was not worth living without you. And please remember they're his words, not mine. That's not.
No, I think that's true. I think that's true.
Yeah. Because I know that you mean the world to him and more. And he talks about how you and he, when you were on your own and you would walk, would go somewhere to visit. And he's showing me a scene which is at night overlooking the harbor, and there's lots of lights.
Oh, yes. Well, we have a place on the water, and
okay. All right, but I'm just seeing all these lights on the water, as you said. I'm sorry, I can't tell if it's the river or a sea. I'm not sure, but I just know that was his time and special time with you. That's what he's talking about, and he wants to get across to you just how important you are to him. And he says, I know you hold me in your prayers every day. I know that. And he says, I get closer to you. And he's giving you, I know this sounds very corny, I'm so sorry, but he's giving you one single red rose. Would you understand the significance of that?
Well, yes, he was big on flowers.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But I know that it's only one, but it's perfect. This rose is perfect. And it's almost like he liked perfection. He liked to look at things through that eye, that perfect eye. And he wants to bring you back the memories of you, just you and him together, being away from everyone and just having that time together in silence, because he says, even though we didn't always talk, we were just there for each other. And he says, that's how you cope now. You don't have to talk to everybody, but you can feel him with you.
That's true. That's very true.
Okay. And he's saying to you, always remember I'm by your side. Always remember that you're just that thought away from me. That's all. And every time you think I'm there because I choose not to be anywhere else, please remember that. He's talking about you recently going through your diary, and you've been trying to look at dates ahead for a break.
Well, I'd like to plan ahead a trip of some kind.
Okay, that's fine. That's what he's talking about. And he knows that you've been looking, just toying with the idea and looking through your diary as to when you would like to go. That's all. And he wants you to go. That's what he's saying. I want you to have time out. I want you to have a different view, different scenery, different people. That's what he's looking for you. And he says, I want you just to have a good rest, which he knows he's talking to himself. Okay, that's what he said. All right. But please just take his love and know that he's that close to you. And he wants you to know that he's thinking of you, and he always thinks of you. And he's showing me a very unusual thing for me, which is some porcelain. It's almost like a tea set, but it's very, very fine porcelain.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. other than,
Okay,
other
can I just ask
knows-
you?
he
hang
knows
on a
I'm
minute,
a
just let me say this before you tell me. Would you accept that you don't like drinking out of mugs?
well, it has to be a very nice mug.
Yeah, okay, then that's what he's talking about. You just having, he seems to feel you need to treat yourself to some really pretty china. That's all he's saying. Okay.
Okay, well, I've been thinking about that too, a new teapot.
That's good. Great. Okay. That's all he wanted to say. So just because he's that close to you, but he says, treat yourself. That's what he wants. He wants you to have something that you really enjoy that on a daily basis. And every time you drink out of your lovely teacup, you can think of him. All right. So
All right.
please take his love. Fabulous guy. And thank you very much for working with me.
Okay, thank you, Simone.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for those lovely messages.
Oh, you're welcome.
This concludes the demonstration of spirit communication. I thank you all for attending the service, and especially for Simone Key for being with us today. We end the service with prayer and song, and I invite Simone to lead us in the closing prayer.
Okay, thank you. Please join with me in prayer. Divine Spirit, our God, as we come to the end of the day's service, we give thanks to you, our God, for all that you do to sustain us in our earthly lives. As we look to you each day, we pray for peace in our world, and that we can use our thoughts wisely to uplift and enlighten others, to relieve others of their suffering, no matter where, no matter who, and that each one of us has a duty of care to each other. We know that with your love and your kindness, we can help where we can, and we can show those who are blind to your light that there is light, there is life, and there is humankind in your eyes. Amen.
Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, Simone. It was so nice to see you again.
Thank you, Dennis. Good to see you too. Thanks. Bye-bye.